win a major first? Hungry Box, Moki, or Spark?
H-Box. H-Box.
Yes.
H-Box. It's H-Box. It's so easily H-Box. Like, come on, Moki's literally not. I love Moki. He's never done it, right? H-Box done it a million times. He literally just needs to duck Zane and have a really good day. That's all he needs.
No, wait, that's facts. Like, why is this a question?
1, 2, 3, 4. Just to start. This is where Melee's meant to be.
It's the thrill of one more kill, the last one to fall.
There it goes.
We'll never sacrifice their will. Don't ever look back on the world closing in. Be on the attack with your wings of wind. Oh, don't you and it's
Welcome to Fourside Fights featuring Unsure, Homemade Waffles, Jmook, and Contra. Citizens of Fourside, I'm Jackzilla, and I know number 1, Sparks Super Jmook controller controls his mind like a ratatouille. Number 2, Mikey spilled water on the commentary setup at Dome Park on purpose to try to kill me and take over this show. Number 3, Sheik's down B should transform her into Mario. And number 4, I don't care at all about Mango shit-talking Nikki and Equilateral and vice versa at all on Twitter. Let's go to each side. Does anybody care? Have we become too soft? Have we become too hard? Let's start with our resident Ice Climbers hater and Chicago TO. It's Unsure. What do you think?
I think, listen, man, if you're going to come in and you're going to just start shit-talking people while having a performance of a regional 3-and-2er, then I don't know. Maybe have a little bit better to back up. If his performances were strong, if he's coming in first, second, third at tournaments, you can shit-talk as much as you want from the top of the mountain. But when you're just over there in the thick of it like the rest of us,
oh, you think they shouldn't have stepped to Mango at all?
No, I think Mango shouldn't have stepped to them. They're having the same
tournaments this year. This is ridiculous.
That's
all
fine.
right, let's go to Homemade Waffles. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's fine, but like, you know, if you get packed out by Zane bitching about that, then it's just like, all right, man, like, bro, just keep that same energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool.
Yeah.
You can talk shit, but like, yo, you know,
you got to pick on some of your own guys.
Yo, man, I'm too old for this shit. Then it's like, all right, so like, you know, that's kind of how I feel. So you can talk shit, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It came up like he was hating low key. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Well,
like,
you know,
if that's the case, then that's cool, man. Cause I'm from that era, so you know. If you think a motherfucker trash, just say it. But then, you know, shit apply to you though. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. Yeah.
So as long as he keep that same energy, like if he get, you know, if bro get washed by Zay, I don't want to hear nothing. You know.
Okay. True.
You know,
Let's go to upcoming Zelda main.
I don't see the problem.
True. Let's go to upcoming Zelda main. It's Jmook. How you doing? What do you think of whatever was going on?
The 10-0 certainly doesn't help with him, you know, talking that sweet. But it's kind of just like bringing out the old dog in him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like think when anyone gives anyone like some sort of flowers, he just gets a little tight.
Yeah.
But I think in this instance, it was just a matter of like, okay, let him have this, and then he can go Ices versus his Fox or whatever the hell he wants to do next time.
I do want to see that. And then finally, he's the co-founder of Level 1 TV and one of the core tournament organizers for Don't Park on the Grass. Welcome back to the show after a billion years. Hi, Contra.
It's been a minute. Yeah, what's up? You know, Mango was supposed to come. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. I've always been saying
come.
Mango's
Should
supposed
have
to
proved
come.
it.
Welcome to Fourside Fights. We're on the 23rd anniversary of Melee's release today. We've got 4 outstanding guests who are going to act as pundits as I throw topic after topic at them. They'll give their takes. If they're entertaining or interesting, I'll give them points. If they're boring, repetitive, or patently unreasonable, I'll subtract points. And of course, I can mute any contestant at any time for any reason. The player with the most points at the end is our winner. They get to commentate the 3 losers as they take it to Fourside in a free-for-all to see exactly how their punditry translates to Melee. Let's start with our first topic. Don't park on the grass this weekend. It was historic. For the first time since Tournament Go 6 in 2004, the 4 players in top 4, Nikki, Joshman, Aklo, and Moki, had not previously won a major. And back then, only a few people had won a major ever. At Don't Park, 8 major winners were in attendance, and none of them made top 4. Let's start by talking about this. Was this top 4 just an insane roll of the dice, or was it such a drift from our usual expectations that it signals a shift? Are we due to have even more new major winners following up Moki? Let's start with unsure.
No, I think this was kind of a lightning in a bottle type of situation. I think this is the consistency of most top players is really strong. Stuff like this, we get a lot of like the triangle, right? Zayn beating the Foxes, only losing to low tiers or mid tiers, I guess. So if he can focus on that and try to harness his inner armada and just not lose to that, I don't really see what the loss is. Jmook and Amza are really the only people that can potentially stop that.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, Mango doesn't go to anything, or he goes to something, but I mean, he's going to lose to... Yeah, I mean, he's losing to Equilateral.
He's won 2
That's
events
crazy.
this year. You are just like amnesia man about Mango this year. Jmook, what do you think?
He didn't show up to Riptide, didn't show up to Don't Park. Those are the only 2 events I care about.
Events you liked.
Those are the only I care about, so...
This is just a cycle. Let him have, like... It's so hard to, like, this tournament was such a case of, like... It goes to show that even Zayn, the player who was, like, becoming, like, a pseudo new armada and winning every tournament, to the point where we're just like, oh, another victory for Zayn this weekend. But now this is, like you said, a lightning in a bottle. It's just a test to show how hard it is to stay consistent at the top from tournament to tournament. And with Mango... Like, just let him play Rivals for a little bit and come back a little stronger and hop back on the bike.
So you think this is not the beginning of like a flood? And you don't think that Nikki, Joshman, Aklo are gonna follow up and get some wins?
I think it will spark confidence in the people who really prove themselves over the weekend, while others underperforming, and alongside also the consistent players. Because looking around, like to the right near the VIP room of all of the top players that you'd assume win the tournament, I kind of got this vibe like, yeah, Nouns is gonna be a little more serious. Like, it's gonna be some like Sunday Summit type shit where everyone is like, no one's smiling, everyone's just out for blood. I think so. I think this tournament happening, like, not saying that I think it's good for the game. I'm not saying that like Melee was not in a good spot before this tournament, but I think this certainly sparks drive in players who are more so like mentally stagnant or like driven in a in a mentally stagnant state. IMO.
Brandon, what do you think?
Say shift's already been happening, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't you think? At least compared to like that whole Five Guys shit, like that shit been dead, bro. So like, I don't know. I guess there's been a shift since then, but I just think this era being at the top is just more chaotic. It's just like you could win a major and then just get 7th or 5th or whatever. Like, it just doesn't mean you can't win again, but it also doesn't mean that like you're cooked. I just think the I don't know, the floor, especially when you have like that many top players at one event.
Yeah.
Like they're going to beat each other.
Yeah.
So then it just opens the floor for like new people. If you get the right matchups, the right situation, like anything can happen. I think if Don't Park's one of them tournaments, if you repeat it 8 times, you simulate it, you get 8 crazy ass results. Like, I don't think anything's like the same. You might have one that's like predictable, but I think that goes like anybody could have won that tournament, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because everybody's just getting that good. And I think to be at the top now, it's like it's just more what's the word? I guess like more of a dense top 8. Like, there's like, how there used to be 10 top 10 players. To me, there's like 25.
Like 20, yeah.
You know,
Fiction was on this years ago. He was like, I'm a top 10
Yeah.
player. I'm just ranked 12.
Yeah,
Top
you
10
know.
skill.
So I just think now it's like it's really showing in the results.
Yeah.
And it's cool too that all 4 of them were from different countries too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And,
that's never happened before either. I
yeah,
tried to write that in topic. It's just gonna get too long writing about all the ways this is crazy.
Yeah, I almost think that's crazier than like them
Yeah.
ever winning a major
Yep.
almost. Because usually it's like
Mm-hmm.
when you see tournaments like that, it's just like American,
Sometimes
Canadian.
Swedes for a while.
Yes, just
Yep.
Swedes.
Yeah, this is. I mean, Dome Park's supposedly like a European tournament. Contra, what did you think? Do you think that Aklo is due? Is Josh Man due? Can Nikki do it again and make it to grands?
Well, you see, I mean, this time we rigged it for Moki. Next time,
Mm-hmm.
who do you think is next on the script? You know, like you're part of the committee.
Well,
No,
Aklo has been getting all these seconds, and I knew this other guy that got a lot of seconds before getting some first.
Yeah,
And,
third,
I
second
think
in
we
a
can
row.
rig it again.
No, but I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm misremembering, but I feel like when Plup first won, like the Genesis that he won, people were like, "Whoa, is this a fluke? He dodged all these people or whatever." Like, and I don't know how many majors he's won since then, but some. So I don't know. I feel like
Xbox and Armada.
Yep.
You know.
yeah,
With the
exactly.
time
Yeah,
was
I'm just
yeah.
fluking by beating Armada.
No,
Yeah.
but like he dodged like Mango or something. I don't remember his exact path then, but like
Sure.
he dodged some problem player. So I don't. I feel like we could talk a lot about like, no, this is a one-time thing, or we could look back on our past and say, well, Plup did it. And that wasn't really a one-time thing.
Yeah. The winner in the end, of course, let's move on to our next topic. The winner was Moki. Over the past few years, people have wondered, when is Moki going to close the deal? He has solid head-to-heads, but he kind of was never able to get into grands or get the path lined up. And the fact that his rough matchup with Zayn became a really, really big barrier. I think the critics, and there were whispers like, is he the new SFAT? I don't think they could have predicted Don't Park. He beat 4 players in a row who had won against him in his last 4 sets, as you saw in the trailer. And I felt a deep sense of catharsis in that room when he won. Like, I have probably never cried at a major. I might have cried at Royal Flush, but I can't remember. And I was not alone. Like, I saw Stewed crying. I was looking around. Grown men are weeping about Moki winning Don't Park on the Grass. So here's my question. What is the most cathartic win you've ever had for yourself or witnessed in person? I think we'll get 3 non-obvious answers.
Can I start?
Let's start with you want. Yeah, you can start. Go for it.
Okay. This one is a deep cut for I think probably 99% of all Melee fans. I grew up in Oregon. I was running tournaments in Oregon, and one of my best friends for the whole time is Zoe, formerly known as Fat Goku. And when the first time she ever took a tournament over Eggs, the best player in Oregon at the time, we both I was running the tournament, and we both popped off super hard, and it was a little awkward because Eggs was mad about it, but that was huge. And then the first time she won a tournament over Bladewise was also very emotional for both of us.
Yeah.
Those are my picks.
Fat Goku wins. Let's go,
Yes.
Zoe. Jmook, what's your most cathartic win that you've ever had or witnessed?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There we go.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Anything else?
There we go.
What about one that you witnessed for somebody else? Because that's, of course, that's the one
Oh.
for you. But what about for somebody else that
sorry,
made you
sorry, I
emotional?
thought
No.
this was,
The question was both things. I just thought I knew.
That's a
Jimmy.
godlike flex.
Yeah, it's a good.
Just
It's a good
reach
flex.
behind you is pretty
Didn't
high.
whip out the bad dragon on stream. Sorry. man.
No. You're destroying.
Dude, low key. It was HBox at Evo 2016. Now, for further context, I was just a wee doc kid. I was diehard Mango fan, and I showed up, and I was with my boy. We were clapping on the Evo balloons. We were going fucking nuts, and yeah, I remember just being in Mandalay Bay during Grand Finals, and everyone around was like, "Yeah, Armada's just gonna win this." It's clearly there's a moment on Dreamland. HBox dies from one up smash, up through up air, and HBox just brings it back. And at the time, I wasn't HBox hater, but he wasn't my favorite player,
Yeah.
But after seeing all of that live, I truly my friend and I were like, man, we want our Armada to win, but that was probably one of the greatest sets we'll ever get to see in person. That was such a crazy turn of events that no one saw coming.
Did you cry?
No.
Okay.
I wore the bandana, but I did not cry.
All right, that's close enough.
I wanted the 3-vote, dude.
Unsure, what was it for you?
I have a couple. The first one for the one that I witnessed was Mango vs. Leffen at Genesis 4. I saw people just hugging and kissing in the stands. It was
like we won a
seriously.
war.
That's exactly the example I was going to use. It
remember
was
that.
like you were welcoming. It felt like the return from World War II. I'm not joking. I've never seen or experienced people like such jubilation. It was crazy. That one was awesome. For me, it was the first time I won a tournament over Michael 41 billion.
Let's go.
That one, I didn't no pop off or anything. I just won and I just reclined in my chair and was like, I can do it. I was like, cool. I was like, that's tight. And then the other one that I witnessed locally was when Fluid won the very first Chicago Arcadian. We everyone there that was supporting him, we all went to the same college, and it seriously is like Fluid, who's like a Chicago PR level player, and all of us are all O2 players. Like I think we all drowned in pools and maybe took a game. And meanwhile, he's like our champion. He's like our mascot. We throw him up, right? He gets to grand finals. He beats Anasur and just destroys him. And it was such a special moment for everyone. It was a cool one.
That's beast. What was it for you, Brandon?
I don't know, man. I done seen some shit. So it's kind of hard for me to say.
I picked one out of the basket.
I guess one I seen people get hyped for. I thought Royal Flush was crazy when Mango won.
Yeah.
I also, for me, because there wasn't cameras at the time, when PP won ROM 3. Was it ROM 3? The one he won over Mewtwo King?
Yeah, I think so.
That sounds right.
That was cool.
On Rainbow Cruise.
Yeah,
I think it might have been
at the
ROM
time,
2.
like, you know, Mewtwo King was kind of like the favorite at that point, especially because Mango had lost. And then PPB Hungry Box and did this crazy run. I feel like that was his first like big major. So that was cool to see. I could be wrong, but that's what it felt like at least.
Yeah. And you really felt it in the room?
Yeah, man. I think the energy was cool just because, you know, it was just like somebody different winning a major.
Yeah.
Especially at that time, it was just like, I don't even know if Armada was around yet. I think he was. But it was mostly just like Mango, Armada, and Mewtwo King at the time, and like Hungry Box winning stuff. I'd say. What
about your wins? What about your
Me?
wins? Yeah, what was your most cathartic win?
I don't even remember, bro. I've never been like. I've had some hype wins though. I had some wins that had the crowd lit, bro. I beat Zoo one time. I fucked that nigga up, bro. That was the one time I beat him, but the whole crowd was lit. This was when he was like top 5. Bro.
Yeah.
And he just
HTC Throwdown. Does that come to mind
right?
for you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That one, everybody was hyped. That was a weird day. I had this like, I guess it's TMI. I had this like cyst on my stomach, and it was really painful. And I thought about leaving the tournament. I was like, bro.
But then the cyst controlled you like a Ratatouille and helped you beat Plup.
I guess so. And then I always forget about that one. I know that's like my best win, but I wouldn't say I was like. To be fair, at that time too, I was beating Dewan a lot. Nobody knew that, but nobody like I got so many wins that people just don't know about. Like, I beat Zach hella times, Dewan hella times.
Is that surprising though? You live in the same region as those guys.
I think people would be surprised though, because people just see me as like the guy who talks. But,
Yeah,
like, there was a long time after like PewFat and Dewan where it was just like them and then like me. And then I would beat them sometime. You know what I mean?
You were literally
it was like that for years. It was like that for a while.
You were on the Melee at Omni Top 100, like the first couple, right?
I think so.
I feel like
I got some wins, but I can't remember the one where I was just like, I popped off once. I only popped off once. I was playing DOH and I was about to lose. I was down 3-1. I'm at like 80%, and then I somehow won that game. So I popped off because I was like, how the fuck did I win that game? But I never felt like I got all I remember is just moments where I've won where the crowd go, like the Zoo win, the Plug win.
So maybe you weren't feeling it as much, but the people were, and then that you felt that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I think the first time I beat Silent Spectre was cool too, because I just lost to him all the time. So like not losing to him was great. winning a tournament over like people like him, S-Fat,
Yeah.
shit like that. That was cool.
All right, let's move
But
on to our
yeah,
next
I can't
topic. I
think of
want to.
one win in particular. Sorry,
You've
Zoo, if
given
I
us
put you on
you've given us
blast.
a couple. You've been pulling them.
Zoo got the all-time like.
Yeah,
beat me
that's the
1,000
biggest
times,
one.
So
If that's the one you remember, then to me that's like the
I just
confirmation that
remember
was.
how lit the crowd was.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was the vibe.
The other surprise at Don't Park was Nikki, the ice climbers / Foxman from Germany, was flown out to Don't Park, I believe, in 2018 and returned with high goals. Nikki's run, including defeating Snap, Dawson, Jmook, and then losing to SDJ. And then he went on a monstrous losers run, defeating Aura, Sweetie Delight, Axe, Cody, Zane, and Josh Man before finally falling to Aklo in losers finals. Compare that to Wobble's Evo 2013 run. He beat a very young Wizrobe, Eggs, Lord, Shroomed, Mango, PPMD, and Hungry Box before falling to Mango twice in Grands. Which run of these two, or something else that I haven't mentioned, is the best Ice Climbers run of all time? And is this how far Ice Climbers can go post-wobbling ban? Let's start
Also
with...
might have to... Oh, sorry.
Oh, go for it, go for it.
It might have to be Nikki, dude. Not because he defeated 1, 2, 5, and so on, but it was also the Peach wins, dude. That was the most impressive because those same Peaches also beat Slug, and you know, like Nikki did get third at the end of the day, but like those combination of wins, different matchups, pressure, and not competing on stage like that and with all these players, and he just looks so stoic on stage, like he's been here the whole time, right?
He's having fun.
He was having fun, and it looked like, yeah, I think he's due to make more runs like that. And while I do appreciate Wobble's run, I think that doing that, especially in this day and age, with how good everyone is, I think Nikki's run was probably the best run.
Anybody else?
Mine's kind of a long answer because
You've thought about this a lot.
I thought about it because people were talking about it. There's another example of a very impressive major run by an Ice Climbers that also featured no wobbling and a large diversity of character matchups. Fly Amanita at Kings of Cali 3 in 2013. He lost to Mewtwo King in round of 16 and then beat Daryl, Fiction, Sung, Silent Wolf in a very famous comeback set, Westballs, Axes, Young Link, and Fox, Shroomed to then lose again to Mewtwo King. All without, I don't think he knew how to wobble or like didn't have rhythm or something.
He couldn't
do it.
He literally couldn't do it. Yep.
Yeah. So that was the first tournament I ever watched live on Twitch, and that one to me is a little bit more impressive than Wobbles. Maybe Wobbles had the best.
So you don't even think Wobbles is number 2?
I think there's a lot of asterisks, right? Like Evo is all best of 3. They randomly decided to unban wobbling last minute. And he dodged Armada. I whatever about that one, but I don't know. I think the
didn't
Fly
dodge
Amanita
Armada.
run.
He got to grand finals.
Yeah, that's fair. The Fly Amanita run holds a special place in my heart because it's like the first tournament I ever watched live, and I think it's hella impressive looking back on it.
That's fair. That's fair. Unsure. What do you think?
I think it's Nikki, and it's not close. I think when you beat the undisputed number 1 and 2 in the world on your way to 3rd place, that is an incredible performance. However, you always have to put the asterisk on it, right? Like for anything. With Wobbles, that just came out of there was wobbling was banned, and then Evo just unlocked it. People couldn't prepare or practice for something like that, and then to just go into the tournament and have a best of 3. I just don't even think Wobbles is part of the conversation. For Nikki, it's something similar where it's like there's no wobbling, so people assume Ice Climbers just won't be played. The last time we saw it, a really, really, really good dominant Ice Climbers player was Slug, and then before that, Chew. And it's like even then, people didn't really practice much against it because chances are Armada or another Peach will just steamroll them anyway, and you don't even have to worry about it. Like statistically, you just wouldn't have to fight them. But if Nikki will be continuously come into events, it's just going to be a battle people are going to have to learn how to fight.
Wob, what do you think? Is there an asterisk?
Nah, I mean, I do think Nikki's run's solid. I think it's more solid just because there is no wobbling. In this time, that shit is hard. So the fact that my guy beat how many of the top 10?
Everybody.
That shit was crazy, especially and coming from Germany too. That's what makes it even more impressive.
To Seattle.
If bro was if he was from Seattle and had a run,
jet
I mean, that
lag.
still would have been good. But I don't know. I just think him being from Germany makes it even more
I was
Gets kicked out of his Airbnb.
look.
Oh yeah.
Look,
Flies
That was
over from
crazy.
Germany. Has none of these doesn't play Leffen type of things, and still smokes foxes.
Gets a bunch of puffs
Marths.
and peaches.
He does have
Like-
solo battle, but he beat Dawson, right? He beat Aura. Seriously, incredible collection of wins. But
Yeah.
I wanna address the elephant room. Wobbling, it's not gone. Handoffs are still wobbling. It still exists. We still allow it. It still exists.
I mean, it low key. It's skill wobbling, but low key. But it's I mean.
If you
It's
if
not
you
as
grab him in the right
different.
part.
It is so different. How
it's
are we having
hard.
this conversation?
No,
Sorry. What we have is not
hard.
wobbling.
No, I don't think it's wobbling either. But it's the idea of it looks like it. But
I mean, it's still an infinite.
There were
get him in
so
the
many
corner, though, and that's-
situations where it didn't kill. There were literally I counted. I was counting in top 8 4 times where I was wobbling would have killed there, and this did not.
Oh yeah. I mean,
no.
wobbling
Because the
is a
DI.
guaranteed kill, but if you can get a handoff that is a guaranteed no response, 75% hit off of that, no one else in the entire game
How
has
are we
something like that.
What?
comparing these? Wobbling
at
is
DK.
a no interaction infinite combo.
Have you
You're
watched
saying
games of Melee?
75%?
Yes, the double blizzard into 4 pummels is around 75%,
Which is
guaranteed
less
at
than
0.
infinity.
yeah, that's less.
I mean, yeah, but no
It
one
is
else.
kinda, it is. It's less.
Yes, but no one else in the game can just hit you for 75 uncontested. Even if Nana's not perfect,
That's not
you
true.
can still get 75. No one else can do that. With 0 interaction on the other side, with Sheik tech chasing, people can still change up mix-ups on DI, techs, mistex, anything like that. Marth, you can still DI, SDI out of the up air, anything like that. With
you
Blizz
can
Obbling,
DI
you-
out of chain grabs or whatever. You can
Yeah.
you can choose a direction to hold or a slight DI or
There are absolutely situations in Melee where if you grab somebody near the ledge, you could create a guaranteed death or guarantee eat a shit ton of
always
damage.
mix-ups.
tons
There's
of
always
characters.
mix-ups unless you guarantee die when you're being handoffed at the edge.
We're talking about checkmate situations, and you're saying that only Ice Climbers has true checkmate situations?
Yep.
You're smoking
yeah.
insane
I mean,
piles
it's
of
true.
weed.
I mean, if they grab you near
What fumes are coming out of that CRT?
the good ones. No, it's only on the 2 1/3 sides of the stage. It is a guaranteed kill. I mean, it just is. It's they grab you, and it is just as simple a check of if you can
It's
react
not a
to Nana
guaranteed
when
kill.
she.
I'm telling you, I've counted the times
Oh
it
my
wasn't.
God.
It's just
it's
not.
It's not. I mean, I think it's skill involved in handoffs. I don't think there's skill involved in wobbling personally.
I think there is skill involved in handoffs as well, but I will say this: the conversation is going to come up again sooner than later if Nikki's performance keeps happening. I'm just saying, and people are going to bring numbers up, and the people are going to be like, "Oh, did you know that Blizz Obble actually is 78%? It's actually guaranteed. We can do this manipulation."
Leffen barely plays now. Who's gonna speak up?
There are other nerds now. We're in a new timeline. I'm serious. It's gonna
right.
happen. Just prepare for it.
Axe and Plup are gonna come to bury Ice Climbers again. They're like, we already tried to kill you.
Plup dropped. You got saved.
Okay, Plup got sick.
If Plup and Manga were in attendance and both got hit by that shit, this would be a completely different weekend.
All right, this does kind of bring me to the next topic. Del Park featured insane counter picks. Aklo's Link beat Zane again. Jmook debuted your Zelda versus Ice Climbers, and it went to game 5.
Took
and
more
then,
games than both Zane and Cody combined with
That's what I'm saying.
Nope.
And
then
and
my
Swedish-
Zelda that I practiced. I mean, I'm not gonna brag about
No, please.
It's
Brag
a
about
work.
your
It's a
losing
work.
Zelda.
It's a work in progress. I'm just for my first go at it. I think I did pretty
agree.
well. I think
I
did.
agree.
Let's go.
But it wasn't the
more
only
better
weird
than I
counter pick. Swedish Delight had his pocket Game & Watch against Nikki. That had people literally laughing out loud in the crowd as Nikki just picked Fox, and then showed why Game & Watch is not the same as any of these other people. Is the future for everyone to have a goofy low or mid tier who covers an unfavorable matchup and can exploit matchup inexperience? Is that the future of Melee?
No, that's so short term. Everyone's people when people are having this conversation of, oh, Zane's losing to low and mid tiers now. Like, let's be very specific about that observation, because Zane's not losing to the Link down the street, right? He's losing to Aqua's Link. He's losing to Amsa's Yoshi, and the next second best he destroys, right? So I think it's more of it's a player specific counter that I think Zane, whatever solution he finds, whether it's through Marth or picking up secondary Sheik, I trust in Zane to trust that and find those answers organically, and he will get better at over time. Like, Zane is probably the best loser we have in this game, where if you beat Zane, you have to be like on point the next time you play him, because he refuses to lose to the same person.
He lost to Link twice, and
He
he's
did
played
lose to
this
Link
Link now
twice,
4 sets,
but
and he's getting worse over time.
His
I
results are getting worse.
I trust the
Zane
process.
as a player
Trust
and
the
a person
process.
to not let that happen again.
All right,
But who knows?
Contra.
We've had a long history of people making very strange off meta character counter picks. Like, I remember when fucking Mewtwo King used to pick Ganondorf against he would try Ganondorf against the Ice Climbers.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like people are gonna try stuff and it's gonna work like maybe once and it's gonna win them a tournament, and then people are gonna have the same conversation where they're like, are we approaching a meta where counterpicking is good? Counterpicking has always kind of been good, but these characters are all bad. Like, I don't know, Link is bad.
Yeah, I know.
People are gonna figure out the shit. Zane, of all people, like, he just needs to sit down and practice. I feel like watching that, it didn't look like he had practiced against Link a whole ton. I don't know. That guy has crazy work ethic. He'll figure it out. And Link is terrible. I don't think we'll see another Zane Ice Climbers counterpick to Leffen's Sheik. Like, I just don't really see that happening. I think maybe people are gonna have like a Fox and a Marth, or a Sheik and a Fox, or whatever. Like, they'll have a duo of characters, but we're not gonna see. No, that's absurd. Those characters are too bad.
All right, what do you think, Brandon?
I mean, are we talking about like just mid tiers in general?
I'm talking about like the top 30 players having something wacky to pull out because they think it's a good matchup versus Zane versus whoever, right? Like, is that exploiting both matchup inexperience and like a kind of okay matchup, like a viable strategy, or is it just like a short-term thing?
Yeah, I was about to say it definitely exploits matchups. I don't know if it's viable though. I just think these people are just that good. So like, Nikki's just that good. And Zane's just gonna have to figure that out. Same with Aklo. Obviously, it is Link, but like, Aklo is that. It's like what Jmook was saying earlier. Like, he's not losing to random Links. And let's be real, he did just 6-1, 6-0, my man.
Yeah.
The last tournament. So it's like, yeah, he lost one set, but like, he just packed him out the last tournament. So you know, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a trend. I just think in this era in general, you just have to be like, this is the most like diverse like character pool has been, you know. I mean, from ICs to Link, you know, like June and all that with DK, like, you just have to be on point now against anybody you play against, no matter what the character. Like, I think coming up back in the day, like, a lot of people just didn't take those type of characters serious. It's just like, okay, let me just top tier my way through it. Like, that's not working no more. Like, these players have gotten good enough at these matchups to where, like, oh, if you're playing like, I don't know, Sheik, Link, or Fox Net, like, that's not a free win. You gotta really lock in.
Yeah.
Now, I think it says more about that than like this being like a viable strategy. Because I think even if those players didn't counterpick, they could probably still win like a bad matchup. So,
well, maybe not Echo. I was getting pretty doomer about the Fox versus Zane's Marth for a while there. It was looking like,
I mean,
bad.
he figured it out. I wonder, because I always feel like, yeah, he should go Fox, but then again, like, the Link is working, so maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
They're tied now. I mean, like, I think Zane has like one set on him. It's like 3-2 or something.
Real quick, I pointed this out. I used to point this out versus Hungry Box when he started losing more, and this is why I think he started losing more. There's a phase where Hungrybox would only play against Foxes and then just win the tournament because everybody would counter pick him with Fox, so he'd only played one matchup. But then once Zane got better, I don't know. Obviously, the legend Jmook here playing with Sheik, you got to deal with more matchups, and I think that like fucks your fatigue up more. So when you're playing all these different matchups, it's hard to be on point.
Yep.
And sometimes you just gas out, and I think that's what you're seeing in this era across the board from everybody. So that's why you see more upsets and like less consistency because there's just more variance now. And I think it's a good thing.
That is exactly what I'm going through right now because you remember when I pretty much any Fox that I would play, you kind of would expect me to win. And it's like, yeah, I would win every Fox, but I'd also lose to would lose to HBox and AMSA in like heartbreaking sets like almost every single time. So it's like, yeah, nowadays I'm losing to Foxes, but I'm also doing better against AMSA. I'm doing better against HBox. I'm figuring out. I'm slowly figuring out. Yeah, it's whack-a-moling, and like Waff said, there's so much more variance, and people are, taking advantage of these, lower tiered characters as as hard as they can and pushing them to their absolute peak. It's tough to be strong in every single matchup. So I can totally see HBox going through that same thing. At like Shine in 2018. That's totally a thing that can happen.
It's like those gamer. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Connor.
Okay, I was gonna say it's like those gamer reflex testers where you have to hit the buttons as they light up, and there's that one guy that like practices all day that can do all of them like 1,000 in a second.
Garnet and Steven Universe on the video game episode.
Steven Universe.
That I can't believe that's not a show you've seen. I'll set that aside for now.
I just think real quick, like you can see Zane going through that right now. I mean, shit, even Nikki, like the run was godlike, but he did lose the SDJ. It's hard to sustain every matchup for that long. Like when you're going 10 hours and you're trying to play good matchups, bad matchups.
This might be
you never even played before. It's like,
I didn't have time for all my hot takes, but I do have a hot take, and I should have put it in the beginning, which is SDJ is right now the best puff in the world. I know he technically got outplaced by Hungrybox, but the way he beat AMSA was actually blowing Hungrybox's mind. He was standing there as it was happening. He's like, he's not drilling at all or doing anything Hungrybox does, and he made AMSA look so much worse than AMSA looks versus Hungrybox. It was weird. I do want to move on to our next topic. This one comes to us from our patron Choa in the Fourside Fights Discord. The crowd at tournaments like Don't Park has a potentially huge influence on players. It seemed like the Don't Park crowd was changing allegiances like every set, and so you could be getting cheered for in one set and then against the next one, and nearly everybody that they cheered for won. Who was the scariest character for you to fight, or for someone to fight on the big stream on the big stage? Who's like the scariest character that you don't want to see popping up against you?
Is this like for people cheering for?
Yeah. For people going crazy and like creating an environment that's shitty to win in, unless you feed off of it, I guess.
Ganon.
Yeah, do you mean on the character select screen?
You keep that shit away from me.
Okay,
because player, it's just Mango, right?
I was gonna go for like a player archetype, And I
sure,
think
if you want to be more creative, the rules are very thin on this show.
I think there are certain regions that playing against in their home region is particularly difficult. So I think local top player versus visiting top player in home region, any character, any matchup, horrific environment to be playing the game in as the visiting top player. Like I've seen the Oregon Melee crowd just like tear down so many players against Jared Yamasaki or Derek Ora. Like these guys get fucking mentally picked apart before they even step on stage.
The worst environment I've ever seen was Fendi versus Scar. That I have never seen a room so determined to make somebody play like shit, and nobody was on his side except for me. But Duck stopped talking.
You can only hear so many cheese him before you start falling apart a little bit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say on a similar line to that is like the number one person I would never want to fight is the person that I am up 25-0 against or something like that, and they come up on stage and they just look you in the eyes and they're like, I got it this time. And then they go up like the first stock, and then you just for a second you're like, what do they know differently? And it's like, it's as the game goes down, it's like, what is going on? Because they want it so much more than you don't want to lose, and it just spirals really quick.
Like that.
And if you add that they play Ganon, I don't want to deal with that shit on the character select. So don't even do that one.
Let's move on to our. Oh, sorry, Brandon. What do you have?
Oh, yeah, I agree with Connor. Like local guy versus non-local player. I also think like any local low tier is like the worst shit of all time. That shit sucks.
Yeah.
Just like you playing like the local DK who's got a couple top 100 wins. Like playing that player always sucks. But even though you hear like the let's go insert like that, I don't know, it's still not as crazy as it used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be fucking wild, bro.
Yeah, and the rooms are bigger. It's hard to like.
Yeah,
And
people,
we have better head noise cancellation.
People, it's weird too, because like crowds will be crazy because they'll cheer against you, right? And then let's say you beat the local hero, then you got like Zane next. Then they're just rooting for you.
Yeah,
It's almost like you win their respect.
Yeah.
I've been in those situations like y'all were all just cheering against me like 20 minutes ago. So it did. I guess it all depends. Like local low tier heroes like the worst though.
That's the scariest.
Yeah.
For me,
All
it'd
right.
probably be like regional ices who I play in grand finals in a flyover state with a $300 pot bonus, and I'm shook every time I'm about to get grabbed. That's
This
probably
sounds
like
like-
the culmination of that is like my heart, like
Dude,
I'm checking my heart
that's
rate
the plot
right
of the
now.
film
It's just- I'm
Challengers.
getting- I'm
You
getting
got to go
fired
kiss
up
that ice
thinking about
climber's
that.
player.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. Overall, Don't Park in the Grass has gotten high marks and is joining the trend of 2-day majors like Tipped Off and Full Bloom. How do 2-day majors compare to 3-day majors in y'all's experiences as players, TOs, commentators, spectators, whatever? What do you think about 2-day versus 3-day majors?
I'll go last.
Okay, unsure.
Good
You'll go
question.
first.
Sure.
You're behind.
That's fine. 2-day, I don't know. I think it should either be a 1-day or a 3-day. 2 days is
Oh.
it's I am very much against a 2-day. I feel like it's kind of the worst of both worlds for attendees. I thought it's a challenge from the TO's end to cram as much as you can in on Saturday and then figure out Sunday and hope that you have enough time to do everything you want and still have a good experience for everyone. Whereas if you get Friday and you have the entire day to play with or half a day to play with, you can get some of the pools out of the way. Saturday you can go through it and then get a great viewing experience for your players at top 64, top 128, whatever it is. And then Sunday have a rounded out top 8 or top 16. Way better. If you're going to be there for the 2 days, you might as well be there for 3 days. It's fine. But I think the biggest critique I have is that events currently that are 3 days don't do enough to capitalize on the people that are already captured there originally. Gommel does a great job at that, right? They got the boat on Sunday. They have other activities that you're there when you're for all 3 days. Great stuff. But if I'm there for 3 days and I'm only playing in a double elimination bracket, it's going to get real dry real quick if I'm not a great player. You can kind of fix that a little bit by offering a ton of setups, but once again, it goes real slow if there's not a lot to do outside of the game.
I hear you.
Brandon,
overall, what do you think?
I mean,
Oh wait, you want to finish? I'm sure.
Oh,
no,
sorry,
you're good.
sorry.
You're good. No,
Okay,
go ahead.
okay.
No.
We got time. I gotta keep.
So-
I gotta keep us moving.
From
Please, yeah, go ahead.
from a TO perspective, I'm kind of unsure. From a player perspective, fuck 3 days. I don't need to be there Friday. We just we just like I don't know. Maybe I'm getting older because it's like, bro, you gotta take time off work, fly on the like. I'm not trying to do that shit, bro. But I get it from a TO perspective, like because you are cramming like a lot. People don't know how much like you got to be way more on schedule because of that. So I get it. And I do think Fridays aren't utilized enough. In general, there has to be incentive to bring people out on Fridays. I'm cool with the 1-day major for real, bro. We need to really bring that shit back.
That's
It
the
used to be
best way.
popping.
That's what it should be. Everyone
Like,
should be a 1-day.
man, just,
I'm with you.
Go there Friday, go there Saturday, and then Sunday go home. I would love that, but I know that's a lot of work in 1 day, and that's a lot of planning on that. That's hard on the players, so I get it. I know the players don't like to be Because
I feel like they won't come. If
Yeah.
they'll think the event is less prestigious.
Yeah, I agree
That
too.
the perception is bad. How do we change it?
Yeah, it's this perception that you got to play on Sunday for it to count. Which
Yep.
Trick people into going and pretend it's a 2-day, and then they find out it's a.
Sorry about a fight.
That's what we did with
sucked.
Full Bloom 3. Leffen found out in the car on the way when he had flown from to Indiana. He was like, "This is a 1-day," and I have the image burned into my brain. It was a thing Ice took and put on his Twitter of Leffen with his hands in his hair, and he ended up having a good time. But he legitimately was like, "Did I get tricked to going into bumfuck Indiana for a tournament that doesn't matter?" Which is not true. Jmook, what do you think?
I also agree. Like, I understood Dome Park being a 2-day event because I don't think you guys were expecting that turnout in terms of attendance.
Yep.
But yeah, for 3-day, it's like not like more often than not, nothing goes on Friday. Like if a tournament's gonna have a Friday, like have it be like have doubles finish on Friday. Just do like Friday, just be all teams, and then have like crew battles, and just like have Friday at least somewhat packed so that it gives people like something to do. Like, but on Friday, like you never see Mango on Friday. You never really see Zay on Friday. It's kind of just like a little buffer rest day, especially if you're adjusting for jet lag. So
Yeah.
if it's gonna be on Friday, like me personally, I would love to just have Friday be like all doubles, so that second Saturday comes at my like 11 a.m. like 12 p.m. pool, I'm just focusing on singles for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, I feel like if I was going.
Yeah, I understand like the salary people who are taking time off. They have PTO and they're like, fuck, I can only get like 2 events a year, like at most, covered. And it's like, oh, you gotta fly in. I guess I have to take off work Thursday because I'm flying Thursday, and it's like then you take the red eye back home on Sunday night if you're really on top of it. But yeah, I think if the Saturday is gonna be a 3-day, if there is gonna be a 3-day, at least make Friday worth going to.
And can I jump in super quick before running to counter on that one?
Yeah.
Something I want to say to that, you bring up a great point, Jmook. If tournament organizers would just publish the loosest possible schedule when they announce their event and just say something like Friday doubles only, no singles, it would allow people to just really get an idea of what the weekend looks in advance, right? You can plan and say, I don't even want to show up. I don't even want to show up on Friday. And it's like, you don't need to give me times. You don't need to give me blocks. You need to just say Friday doubles only, Saturday pools, singles, and Sunday. That's it. TOs.
Yeah,
write
because
that one down.
TLs do be posting schedules like 2 hours before the event. I'm like, oh, bro.
That's when we finally figured it out. Contra, what do you got?
I have a bit of a downer response because I actually think most majors could be 2-day events. Even Genesis could be a 2-day event. It could get from 1,500 down to 8 in 1 day if there were enough setups. If it was only one game, no crossover, and if there was no doubles, nothing to cross over with live,
I'm so down.
I love it.
I love
so
doubles.
down.
Listen,
I'm
I'm
so
the
down.
biggest doubles fan of
I love
all
doubles
time.
too, but fuck doubles.
But I think the problem that we ran into at Dome Park is we had to cap doubles. It was gonna be way too big to run because it had so much crossover with singles. Like everyone that enters doubles also enters singles. You can't have them play in the same wave at the same time. And in a 2-day, you have limited waves, right? So I think 2 days are kind of the answer. Like it's a much cheaper tournament to run. It's easier on more people's schedules. But the drawback is it has to be like an extremely limited event pool. Like you can do melee singles and ultimate singles only.
Yeah.
Or like melee singles, ultimate singles, rival singles only.
Yeah.
And hope that there's no one that's good at all three. You guys basically nailed all the problems, but like, the event crossover is the problem. Dome Park could have been uncapped 1,500 entrants. We would have run on time still, if not for doubles.
What do you think about banning cross entrance between other games? Melee singles to doubles is fine, but what about no one? If you enter, you can only enter one, right? You can't enter melee singles and ultimate singles.
I mean, that doesn't really solve the problem. Doubles has another issue, which is that there's twice as many people. Like there's twice as many opportunities for those people to be schedule crossed with other games.
This is really going to line up nicely with our next topic about how to solve the doubles problem.
And
All right.
the problem
Get
is,
rid of
give it its own major. It
That's right.
deserves
Let's
it.
move on to our next topic. Ohan announced a new upcoming tournament that he first leaked on this show, Fourside Fights. He's now announced Tango, a doubles major. It already features most of the top 10, and he's yanking SFAT and Pew Pew U out of retirement to get them to compete here. How do you feel this doubles-only tournament event? Will Ohan cave to Hungrybox and ban double Fox teams? And like, is maybe there a future in Melee for doubles-only events that can ease the scheduling of other tournaments, but still have doubles be, get its moment in the sun? Let's start with
I'll start
you got
with
it.
this one because
Yes.
I know K-Toy pretty well, and he's excited for this major. I think this tournament will be a nice test in the waters to like what we think about doubles as a whole. Because if you don't like teams, I get it. I understand. I mean, personally, I like teams. I've always like, whenever any tournament, I've always like tried to enter teams when I can. But yeah, this tournament will decide if I guess we'll see if Double Fox is what Ohan says. This will be like the decide. I think what he says about Double Fox is equivalent to like the mid-level wobbling. Why wobbling got banned? Because like mid-level,
Ohan also has those opinions.
Ohan,
Yes.
is wrong sometimes.
So we'll see. But yeah, I think this doubles tournament could spark doubles and push it back to where it used to be. And I think that like more static teams would help. But yeah, a lot of teams are taking this seriously. Like I was talking with K-Toy, he was like, dude, Jake, I love you, man. But if we sit down and play, you're gonna be my enemy. I'm not gonna look at you like a friend. I'm just gonna look at you as like an objective to beat, And I think that's so sick that we're getting PewFat back. And yeah, I just hope that it does super well, performs well. It gets new players who normally only enter singles. They're like, yo, dude, let's team with their buddies, and they're like, yo, let's do this more often. Let's see if we can figure this out.
I could see there being a market for like 4 of these a year.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Unsure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I have a lot of thoughts on doubles too. I think doubles has lost its way of what it is. I love playing doubles. I don't love attending doubles tournaments, right? I think how it's kind of shoehorned itself in as the default secondary game to Melee singles no longer really fits with the ambitions of what TOs are trying to do, right? If you're trying to run different kinds of formats, if you're trying to run, longer schedules, we have bigger amounts of people attending events, it becomes harder and harder to schedule over that, especially as people cross between games. I love that someone is attempting to run a Melee major for doubles. I think it's a great idea, but it doesn't address the biggest problem, is how do we get people to play doubles? It's impossible to get people to play doubles because currently the only way that people play doubles is at the local regional level. And when the number 1 seed is flown in, right, and they just team up with the number 1 in your region just to farm everyone, it devalues the power of friendship teams that come in, right? And it's always sick. Of course, you always want to team up with your buddy, right? I mean, get good is right, but it's like it is such like a slap in the face reminder that even if you play and practice doubles, it doesn't matter when the 2 best dudes just come in and team just for the money aspect of it.
I don't buy this at all. I don't see a reason why this is true locally,
Sorry,
Go for it.
didn't mean to interrupt. But if we get quarterly doubles events per year, that could also spark like doubles rankings. Not saying more people would enter because there's rankings, but I do think that if we have a doubles focused event every 3 months or so, and there's rankings that come from it, then that would spark more motivation.
That's actually so true. We've never had a rankings for double.
No.
And maybe the rankings are good.
It's because you can't rank people. You can't rank them because people always rotate out, and it's just, I'll just choose the next best player. Static teams are few and far between. Obviously, you have the PewFats and the the Brudders and whatever, like 4-leaf Mango, but it's like after that, it falls off pretty hard. In the newest generation, Jmook and Cody's an awesome team. Amza and Axe, great, but when you go down a level, it just is I don't know who's the next best player that signed up. I'll team with them. I think it's just a hard sell for lower level players to get attached and want to join because of that.
Brandon, what do you think?
I think doubles events does motivate people to play doubles more. I don't see why it wouldn't. Just because if you know, like I think a lot of singles players, right, when they go to tournaments and play doubles, in the back of their mind, they're thinking about singles. So if you got a tournament where players are actually thinking about teams, I think it's going to motivate people to enter teams more, especially for the singles heads. Like for the people who like don't give a fuck about teams, that gives them incentive to go too, because then they're like, okay, well, shit, I don't got to worry about my singles performance, so I might as well just enter this tournament. So I feel like there's no real like loss as far as like if you do like at least quarterly, like you guys were saying, just to see where it's at, see where it goes. I think if like people really show up to this doubles, I think this one will be a good like sample size. Like if a lot of people show out, then that's gonna be it's gonna tell two things. I think either A, more people like doubles than we think, or B, teams is tied to certain regions. Because I do think there are regions that don't give a shit about teams, but then you go to another region and it's just like gospel. So I don't know. I think a doubles event though is gonna answer a lot of those questions. So
this is making me think. Maybe we were talking about trying to get something in Oakland. Maybe we need a doubles Oakland tournament.
Yeah, bro, I thought okay. So speaking of Oakland, you brought that up. I'm trying to do something for the Wombo combo in 4 years. Only time I'm popping back out.
Whoa, exclusive.
Okay. That's cool.
Maybe that's a doubles tournament. Maybe that's a doubles
Wombo
tournament.
combo.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, like an anniversary. I do want to throw some singles in there though, but we'll see. I don't know. That's all. That's in 4 years. So
yeah, Contra, what do you think?
I'm gonna take the weed that you're smoking. Tournaments are huge risks, right? To run at all.
Yes.
Yep.
So it's really cool. I think it's respectable and awesome that Ohan is running a tournament that's like unproven because he's taking this risk and deciding to do something even riskier by running something that we don't know how popular it'll be. I'm also shocked that no one remembers the Fuse doubles circuit that
I do.
We literally ran. Okay,
it absolutely made doubles entrance at my tournament increase. I remember it well.
But they couldn't keep doing it because people didn't watch, people didn't care. And they did do a ranking and people didn't care. So I don't know. I think it's a great attempt and I love it. I wish we had this, but people don't care about doubles. That is the reality. People don't watch it as
I think
much.
that's kind of cap, bro. You're comparing a circuit that was like conflicting with singles at the same time.
No, it was never conflicting.
No, it absolutely
they ran their
was.
own stuff.
No. The circuit element. They had a finals event that was
that
doubles
shit
only.
At Evo, dude. Like, of course, nobody's gonna pay attention to that shit at Evo. You know, like,
but it wasn't conflicting with Evo. It was hosted at Evo, but it wasn't at the same time.
Right, but when there's other tournaments with singles in it, people are automatically gonna gravitate.
Yeah.
This is like totally something foreign. Like, ain't no singles tournament here. There's no other like side tournament here. It's just like this is the event. That's why I think it's different. Because every time back in the day when you had those circuits or whatever, it was always we had to work around it with singles because that was the only time where we can get everybody in one spot. But I think this is different. Personally, I think it's different.
I think we're gonna run into similar issues though, where like why
we can, but
like,
but I guess my point is we don't know. So you could be right, but
we'll check back in a decade.
Hopeful to be proven wrong.
Do you want to make do you want to make a classic Fourside point bet? I'll give you points right now, but I take them away the next time you're on the show if you're wrong.
By what metric should I be making this bet?
How many viewers do you think finals of Ohan's tournament will get?
No more than 5K.
Okay. You were right on the money with what I was gonna say. Yep.
Under over 5K.
Like
that's
maybe
a good bet.
up to 6K, but I don't think much higher than that.
Do we know who's streaming it?
It's probably on one of the players' channels or this.
Yeah.
If he gets PP and Lozer and Armada and Android, it's gonna pop off.
Get Armada and Android. Calm down.
Fek and I4 Doc.
Yeah.
I wish it was
out before.
I4 and Fek not coming is very, very sad.
And
Apparently
a Little England YouTube guide to doubles.
I would say though, I do think Armada would be more likely to pop out for a doubles tournament. I'm not saying he is, but you know, I can see
it.
I remember there was a time where he said I'm retired, but I'll come to your tournament to play doubles with Android if you fly him out. And no one
Yeah.
took him up on it.
Right. That's true. He did say that.
I don't think he was serious, actually. I'm pretty sure there were some people that made
I don't
overtures.
think you just say that. I
This
feel
is
like I'm
before-
not
That's
that type of dude.
expensive.
Yeah.
That is expensive, but
Yeah, if you drop 4K, I'll play in the side. But like, he did show up to stuff to commentate for a little while. I don't know.
that's true.
I don't know that
think
guy.
he's gonna come to this tournament to at least commentate?
He's not. Like
he's
that's
not?
kind of a point of contention that he's not going. It's like the special doubles major.
At all. Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he just like blessed the mic, I think that'd
Agreed.
be cool.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, let's move on to our next topic, though. This has gotten my brain spinning, so I'm glad we talked about it. If you like Don't Park on the Grass, you're going to love the other beautiful college campus in a student union building hosted by skinny white people. Full Bloom 2025 was announced at Don't Park on the Grass, versing last year's claim that Full Bloom 2025 be the last one ever. We're gonna double down on melee. We increased the melee cap to 512 to 512 from 352. Sorry to the local ultimate scene. We got our budget cut and we made tough choices. This is mostly my nerves talking. I think we can hit that cap 512.
Yeah.
Can we hit it
easily?
When is it again?
April 5th, 6th, or 7th. One of those.
Yeah,
two of those.
You're
three.
gonna hit it.
Easy. You've already
Yeah.
confirmed like most.
Yeah.
Like it's already based on who you've already confirmed. It's like pseudo major, if not. You know,
It's a
major.
already one. At
Last
this
year was a
point.
major. Fuck Wikipedia. They can eat my shorts.
I'm not saying
Right.
last. I'm not saying this year is what.
It's crazy to like look up
Ossified,
and like
baby.
There's an
see on like
Oregon-
the
okay,
majors,
the-
the melee
the
majors page.
The Oregon does help your case. I will admit.
Yeah,
Oregon
I know.
helps.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
As someone who famously I guess estimated our the size of a tournament, I think you are up for a challenge with your proximity to Battle of BC. I think you're gonna struggle to get most people from the West Coast to choose because they're a week apart.
They are.
I'm going to both. I'm going to both.
So yeah, you'll
Yeah,
get
I guess
top
so.
players running the gambit. Like people sometimes they love those like back to backs.
I think
sequences.
we're gonna corner the market on people on the West Coast or from the United States that do not have a passport.
Jmook.
Oh wait, that's
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
you're gonna
Midwest,
lose on
baby.
Toronto for sure. A little
They're
bit.
close.
They're close, but they are recovering from Battle of BC.
Yeah. That's
Canadians
all
also maybe that don't have passports somehow. Surely
Bye,
it's 100
Faust.
times easier there.
right. Sorry.
I think 512 is definitely achievable, but it'd be tough. But I think you of all people, you'll get there. I believe in you. You're a capable guy. You can afford.
I love your tone of voice. Brandon, what do you think? We got it.
I'm with Connor to an extent, and I'm not. I'm with Connor when it comes to top players. The Midwest is fucking huge, dude. I think they pop out. Like if you get all the Midwest out there, bro, you get Illinois, Ohio, fucking Indiana, Michigan, like that'll easily cover it. But amongst like top players, I think like that's gonna be difficult, especially the West Coast ones, right? Like because like you said, like that shit is real.
If we got Mango Jmook, I feel like that's like
coast to coast back to backs are definitely tough. But then again, if you live on one coast, it's not as bad, I guess.
Yeah.
My bad, James.
Midwesterns are like the Europeans of the U.S. because they also don't get like big events like that. So they'll do the 9-10 hour drives for for that kind of tournament for sure. Like Midwest always shows up, and they did for Full Bloom this year. So it's more concerned with time zones, Canada to US, West Coast, Battle BC in proximity to that. But I definitely see
where we're
512
at
there.
right
Also,
now.
too, what I wanted to point out, Full Bloom got legacy. A lot of these tournaments now got legacy now. They didn't back in the day, like 5-6 years ago, or whatever. But I like Don't Park, fucking Full Bloom, Gommel, what else?
Battle BC.
Even
is about to have its
Battle of
seventh
BC. Like
iteration.
each year that these tournaments keep going, it just cements that legacy more and more. So I feel like when you have like, especially when like with Full Bloom, where they've like rotated like full staff and still brought it back. Like I don't know. I feel like the namesake alone will like get people to pop out.
Right now, Melee's at 112, and the over is at 149.
Yeah, I mean,
So I think we're good.
kinda-
We're
that's crazy.
20% of the way there, and we've got 4 months.
Yeah, so.
And I'll
But
just keep
what you'll
bringing it up
see
on
is
Fourside.
you'll see it grow a little bit in the last couple of months, and then like 2 weeks before Reg close, like fucking
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah, but I mean, I think people will show up. So
Cool. Yeah. Let's move on to our final topic. I'm skipping 2 of them because we're already going pretty heavily over. LACS Rivals will take place this weekend with the off-brand crew in Ludwig, mostly focusing on Rivals of Aether 2. But also, I think there's going to be a Melee bracket. And if I've got my names correct, it's Zane, Cody, Mango, Moki, Amsa, Hungrybox, and Leffen. I think Joshman just dropped out of being sick, just like he dropped out of Fourside Fights from being sick. Do you think that Zane will still be playing off-peak like he was at Don't Park? Because he's kind of got, first locked in for the year? Or do you think that everybody's going to give it their all, and who do you think is going to win?
I have a exclusive that you apparently don't know. Fiction is going. I don't know who he's replacing.
I didn't.
But Fiction is going.
That's a huge exclusive. Big points.
He tweeted it. Zane doesn't have. I don't think he's had enough time to get back in the practice mode. I think he's gonna be similar form that we saw at Don't Park.
Aklo Link coming for him.
I don't care about time. He's fresh off of a loss. Zane is hungry, dude. I think that regardless, even if it's a few days ago, I think it's go time. He's putting on the noise canceling headphones.
Zane is your boogeyman. You've got a lot of respect for him.
I do, because he keeps beating me.
Yeah, fair enough. Unsure, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the same. I think he gets on the plane and already has 10 VODs pulled up from Honey Bear and all of these like save state. He knows exactly what he's looking for. I think he's already hit up Maher and been like, you play Aklo daily. Like, you give me a nugget. I got to work on it. I think that he does not rest until every hour of the day is filled with some new piece of knowledge. As for his, aspect, I think Jmook brought up a great point earlier. It's like there's a fear that no one is infallible, and right now it's double down. Buckle up, get better as quick as possible, because you just got to prove, like, for the last half of the year, like, who is going to be number one. And if he thinks that he even has a chance of not being number one, this is going to be the most important event for him.
I think he could wipe out and he's still got it locked up. Brandon, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't lock in. Even just fuck the number. Like, why go if you're not gonna? It was with all that competition there. I don't think Zane's the type of dude to just.
He wants medals.
I'm gonna kick my feet up. Like, nah, he wouldn't be one in the first place. I think if he thought like that.
Yeah.
So.
That's
I think Zane's gonna go there locked in.
I can see players like that. Like, I'm sure, like, yeah, he may have some close sets. He may even like lose in winners and have a crazy losers run. Like, I'm sure, regardless, like the sets will be tight and close. But I do think that this is Zane fresh off of a loss versus 2 characters that there's a lot of talk, and I think Zane has like a little bit in him to like prove people wrong and like channel that energy and just playing hyper focus on just playing really, really good Melee.
Right.
And
I don't know. I feel like everyone was talking about Zane like he's this unstoppable monster before Dope Park. And yeah, he was definitely the favorite going in, but as soon as I saw that he played Nikki in losers, I was like, he's losing that. I don't think he's gonna win that. I think he's gonna get I didn't think it was a 3-0, but I thought he was gonna, like, I said to someone, I was like, if Zane loses to Aklo, he's gonna lose to Nikki. So you guys have crazy faith in this guy. So
why do you think he was just gonna lose? Because he lost earlier, or what?
No, just because of the way he's playing and how Nikki is like a different beast of an ice climbers, and there's not really ice climbers of that level right now. Mm-hmm. And Nikki was playing well. He beat Cody.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Zane's great, and I just he didn't when I was talking to him, at least this weekend, he didn't. His tone wasn't that like demon mode. I will win everything no matter what. Zane that I have felt before.
I kind of thought he was kicking his feet back. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got to.
I know he doesn't usually do that. I know that's like very unusual, but I could imagine him turning that on just go out for dinner, and then when we get into this week, he turns it back off and goes into game mode. All right, that brings us to the end. We have a tight battle here. We're about to go into our tiebreaker, and we basically got 3 people tied. The way this is going to work is I'm going to go the most points. Let's get into our tiebreaker question. Zane and other players have been making content lately, fighting Philip the AI. Most players struggle against it unless they're able to find some exploitable habits that Philip has and can't adjust against, but it seems that this thing is getting stronger and stronger. So for our tiebreaker, what is the best use of Philip the AI in Melee's future? Let's start with Unsure.
Send it to Crimson Blur. If anyone remembers the clip back in, what was that? Smash the Record, I think it was. And it was Blur versus the AI bot of like 2016 or 17. And I think he just tries to like down tilt in place over and over and over again. It ends up doing damage. I think Blur's the first person you got to throw at it. That's really what's going to determine how successful this bot is.
You think he's our Paul Bunyan?
I think he is. And that blue the ox is just going to come right at him.
All right. Brandon?
I think it's gonna teach people how to lose.
Explain. I don't
understand. The best thing. I just think sometimes people, especially top players, when you win so much, it's hard to get used to that feeling of like losing. And I think you gotta have like a level of maturity about it, in my opinion. I mean, or not. I mean, there's a lot of people who still do well, but I think it helps. I think that's why you see like, I mean, Zane, for example, Aklo too. I feel like Aklo just handles his losses like a G. Like, you know, I think that carries on to the next event. And I know it's like not a technical answer or a practical answer, but I just think exposing yourself to that feeling is good in a way. Obviously, it's like hard to beat a fucking AI. Does the AI like download like your?
No.
No, it's just okay. It's just like base goated. Okay,
it's just good. I mean, it's based on people. They have the AI fight itself until it becomes strong.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I mean, I think if anything, I think it's a fun challenge, and I think it's just good for people to get used to that feeling of like, what the fuck do I do? It sparks the idea of like how like dealing with loss and the creativity to get around it. And
that reminds me, I feel like Moki, like the 100 challenge, actually built some resiliency that was very helpful this weekend.
And I like that shit goes a long way. Like if you lose, like I'm sure Moki lost that shit hundreds of times. So just the fact to be able to like take an L like that and then, you know, keep going is like, I don't know, says a lot. I mean, one don't part, but I don't know, maybe I could just be like psychoanalyzing. I'm not sure, but that's my take on.
Wizrobe was tilted fighting it, so maybe it will teach some people some things. Contra, what do you got?
So I've been pretty busy the last couple weeks. Who's this player?
It's an AI that you can connect to on Slippy called Philip. That is like a master's level.
It's like perfect, bro.
How do we know it's an AI?
Yeah, it's like because I don't think there's a random person
that shit's doing shit people can't do, bro.
No, I know. I don't know. Like
it's human reaction time.
It is,
but like
it's just.
I mean, let's keep it.
It's Crush on the other end.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do we know this isn't Crush or some other?
That would be the best bit ever.
That would be fire. Is that your answer for what is the best use of Philip?
I don't know. I could talk a long time about this, but we don't.
No.
You know.
I guess that's where you're at. Jmook, what do you think? What's the best use of Philip the AI in Melee, if at all?
I don't know, dude. It's a fun little experiment. Like I remember watching. So I actually just brought this up before we went live. I'm probably gonna try and play Philip after regional tournament frame this weekend and just give it a shot because I watched a little bit of the Falco like a few months back and like it looks like a computer, but then I had moments of like, wait, that is something like a person does, but super clean. You know, it looks like it had some like human decisions, like just based on the guy. So I don't know if he's worked on it or improved. I hear there's a Sheik, so when I come back from frame this weekend, I'm gonna give it give my damnedest. But I think it'll be like similar to Uncle Punch, how we use Uncle Punch to practice situational stuff. I think we'll get to a point where we can code an AI or like a Falco to be like more platform heavy, or a Fox who like does more circle camping, etc. It's not gonna be like it's not gonna be like we're not gonna get to a point where people like are only practicing against fucking Philip the AI instead of actual people. I think it'll just be like a fun little challenge to do on the side that can like practice you doing like perfect stuff on shield or like perfect, because regardless of AI, there's still things that you can do as a human that even a computer cannot be. Like a low nair on shield they're not gonna shine immediately out of that, right? Like a low nair is still a low nair regardless of if it's a computer or Dave down the street, right?
Yeah, so you're thinking it's like an advanced save state.
Yeah, it's gonna be like an advanced form of Uncle Punch that just happens to play the whole game with you rather than practicing edge guards or specific situations.
I think you and Brandon both have very interesting answers, but because it's a tiebreaker, that you were just the one ahead, so I'm gonna give it to Jmook for this episode. Congratulations, Jmook. You are the winner of our Fourside Fights punditry. Let's all get our controllers out and get into.
I forgot about this part.
Yeah. You're gonna have to commentate the 3 losers if you take it to Fourside. I'm
I
gonna put.
I don't have to play.
Yeah, you're not playing.
You
man.
do not have to play.
You won.
All right. Ivan Barksdale, that's WAF, right? It's gotta be WAF.
Yeah. You are in control now. Whatever you want to show, you can commentate, you can not commentate, you can mute them, you can unmute them. You now control the floor.
I just want to see some League of Shadows. Someone team up against each other. I want to see some betrayal, please.
You want to see drama?
Yeah, I want to see like. I want this to be like season finale, I want some like Ned Stark shit,
I think you had to play last time, right? You didn't win.
Well, you didn't even bring that up, but okay.
Oh no! Do you have to? Do you want to shill anything? It's gonna end up in the episode if you want to like. Get some get some good boy points with Brian Anderson.
Brian? That's
he went to school with me. We were in the same classes at IU.
Are you serious? Oh,
I'm not kidding.
You're just telling me about this? That's the CEO you're telling me?
Yeah, me and your boss, I edited for him when he used opinion pieces.
Oh my god. All right, I'll tell him. I'll be like, dude, I'm sorry you know him.
Oh, come on.
But yeah, shout out to FlyQuest for sure for keeping me going. I've had some single turns, but they believe in me. They believe in Smash. That's why they're still going at it.
Yeah.
That was.
This is the fastest fight on Fourside maybe ever. This is like 2 minutes in and we're almost at the end.
All right, you got League of Shadows, the Fox.
Oh, that's me. I'm the best or the worst player. Give me a chance.
Nah, you got this. I'm trying to get down. How do I get down?
I got you, man.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh shit!
Hey, come on, be on some Chicken Little. Just. All right, if you don't play on the UFO, you are actually softer than jelly.
Than jelly?
I bet.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, Falco's got some great. You can wave dash jab, wave dash.
I feel like. I think you can't kill yourself by jumping.
No, WAF knows. The true veteran.
Oh. Fuck.
Ah!
Oh my god.
Oh.
This stage rocks.
All right, the Sheik is the shield that guards the realms of men.
I think Fox could have walled
No way.
Oh, okay. That's the end of it.
Unbelievable, man.
All right, congratulations. I believe that was Homie Waffles winning the fight on Fourside. Yep. So congrats.
I don't know, I won that shit, bro.
Everybody fell apart.
Fucking killed myself at 0, dude.
Yeah. All right, congrats to Jmook for winning Fourside Fights. Congratulations to Homie Waffles for winning the fight on Fourside. Thank you all for being with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey, let's get
Buy
it.
merch,
Much
please.
love.